Well, we're going to start the debate about migration first. The team that is in favor is going to introduce the topic.
Today, we know that the world is destroyed by COVID-19. The people who lost their jobs are many, too many. People want change and migration is one of them. Today, people need to look for new alternatives. They have families to support, children to study and feed. There are countries where there are no job opportunities, and because of that people must look for new opportunities. Opportunities that there are not everywhere. The definition of empathy is the feeling of identification with something or someone. People are no longer sympathetic. People don't care about what happens with other people. And the typical arguments of there is already overpopulation in the countries. We don't want more people. That arguments are not useful because that is not true. New people are needed everywhere and we must be in constant change. What will happen if the situation touches you? What if your job is taken away and you have nothing else to do because nobody hires you in your country? What will you do? Will you just sit back and watch time go without doing anything about it? People have to change. If we change people, we can change the world. Nowadays, people don't want to do anything. They don't want to help. We must have feelings. We must know that out there, people need to help. If we help others, they should help us.
Well, now is the turn of the against team.
Opposition to immigration exists in all states with immigration and has become a major political issue in many countries. Immigration in the modern sense refers to the movement of people from one state or territory to another state or territory, where they are not citizens. Illegal immigration is immigration that violates the immigration laws of a state.
As we know, migration is the movement of people from one place to another. But the restrictive sentiment of immigration is usually justified by one or more of the government expenditures. For example, they may exceed government revenue related to new immigrants about the language. They isolate themselves in their own communities and refuse to learn the local language. About employment, they acquire jobs that would otherwise have been available to native citizens, depressing native employment. Also, they create an excess of labor supply accompanied by depressing wage. And the damage a sense of community and nationality. And finally, the environment increases the consumption of scarce resources. Their shift from low to high pollution economies increase pollution.
Well, now it's the turn that, that the team that is in favor to present their arguments.
Sometimes people have the option to move, but sometimes they are forced to. The reasons why people leave a place are called push factors. The reasons why people are attracted to new places to live are called pull factors, what are better lack of opportunities. Some advantages are cultural and linguistic diversity, considered a valuable resource, over 200 languages spoken here, a rich mix of tradition, cultures, language, and beliefs. Multiculturalism is now considered a defining characteristic of identity. Economic benefits. generate good employment and increase economic productions and living standards to a growth in the size of the labor force and increase in the productive capacity of the economy. Some advantages more are getting better places, interacting with people, and learning their way of life.
Well, now it's the turn of the against team to present their arguments.
Okay, hi, good afternoon. My name is Diego Ortiz, and I'm against the immigration. One factor that affects the immigration is that the immigrants takes away jobs and lower their wage of the of the of the country because people of the country and also this affects most to the poor people because they uh, they don't have job and the immigrants that comes take their jobs. Another point that I'm going to talk about is the factors of the culture because the people of another countries brings their own cultures and their ideas and sometimes it can affect to the country uh, this this thing. Thank you very much.
Well, now it's the turn of the team that is in favor to get their reputations.
Okay, when you say that migrants take the jobs of native people, it's false. Actually, that is not true. Tons of economic and social studies show that immigrants actually improve our economy. As the NATO Institute says, immigrants typically move the growing regions and help to increase the economic cities. Also, by creating the working jobs once they arrive. When the migrants arrive to some country, they work. They don't do anything else. They want to have a better life. And sometimes, in many of the cases, they work unpleasant. They have the backbreaking of jobs that the native people of that country, workers, are not willing to do.
Well, now is the time that the team that is against gets their reputations.
And what about the crime of the immigrators? Most of them comes from their country because they are poor or because they don't have jobs and like that, and so they are doing crimes, and you cannot be um, you cannot um, you don't know if the immigrator is a good person or a bad person.
Also, you mentioned that migrants go to another country to find like another way or a good life with another increase of money. But I want to mention that in the big countries, the migrants may be exploded. And this is a very bad way because they go to find a good life, but if they are exploded, their life is going to be worse.
Okay, now it's the time for the questions. The team that is in favor These are the two questions. First, should migrants stay in their countries? And the second question is, what can we do to integrate the migrants?
I think I think that the migrants they need to be in the country that they are going to take the job because they pay taxes, they work honestly. Also, we have a sector that is a provocative violence of the native people of the country, but it's a minority. I think that actually the native people have more violence to our migrants in other countries than migrants to the native people. And for the second question, I think that um, the same. The migrants come to one country to have a job, be in peace, and have respect for not.
Well, for the second question, one of the most effective ways to integrate the immigrants into their new home is to become a naturalized citizen. Citizens gain the right to vote, can run for office, and sponsor family members to come to their new place. And most importantly, citizens can be never deported. Thank you.
Well, now is the time that the team against answer the questions. Are the same.
Well, about the first question, I think that the migrants should stay in their countries. Why? Because the economic disadvantages through the loss of young workers, also the loss of highly trained people, especially health workers, and the social problems for children left behind or growing up without a wider family circle, and the depression of wakes may occur, especially in lower paid jobs. And also, having workers willing to work for relative low pay may allow employers to ignore the productivity, training, and innovation. And as I mentioned, the migrants in the majority of the cases may be exploited, and the increases in population can put pressure on public services, and the employment may rise if there are unrestricted numbers of incomers.
Sí.
Develop emergency care plans aimed at covering the basic needs of migrants. Create an information system for the registration and detection of the protection and assistance needs of migrants that in turn allows the development of public policies. Legally advise and provide information to migrants on all their immigration options so that they can make informed decisions. Strength the generation and development of immigration alternatives other than detention. Also, can we generate durable solutions that allow these people to regularize their migration situation and to enter the labor market in countries of transit and or destination?
Well, now is the time for the conclusion for the team that is in favor about immigration.
Migration has multiple uses. We have not fully realized that it has many benefits, and so is the human being. Human beings don't realize the good things, they only realize the bad things. We need to see that we do need people because they have more new and innovative ideas. We must work as a team. We must learn to work as a team. We cannot work alone. Not accepting migration is like racism. We don't realize it, but we are part of it. Many people say they are not racist, but there are people who don't accept others. That is racism, and we must accept it. Talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence wins championships.
Now it's time for the conclusion about the games team.
It is clear that immigration can be beneficial for immigrants, but only if their rights are protected properly. It can also be economically beneficial for both countries of origin and host countries. However, with present economies and trending structures, it is the rich and powerful countries that benefit most. Migration brings social and cultural pressures that need to be taken into account in planning for future service. Migration also has the need to be no ha, had also the potential for bringing people together culturally, but friction occurs if efforts are not made to dispel negative minds held by local people. It also essential to provide good information about the local way of the life to newcomers and ensure opportunities for people to mix and integrate, where the economy.
It is also essential to provide good information about the local way of life to newcomers and ensure opportunities for people to mix and integrate. Where the economic precondition exists, migration is inevitable. When people try to prevent immigration, it just goes underground.
Yeah. Well, this is the end of the debate. Thank you for your attention.